Recording in progress.
Roll call.
Mary Ann Bum,
Here.
Courtney Kyleman.
Here.
Laurel Nagadi.
Here.
Shelley Olvera.
Here.
Bernard Seeger.
Here.
I'm looking at last week's minutes.
Agendas, additions or agenda,
Yes.
amendments to the agenda.
Additions or amendments to the agenda. No, looks good. All right, last week's minutes.
I have, let me ask you this. Normally we have a motion and a second, then we have discussion.
Correct, yes.
Is that the way it's gonna go?
Same process, yeah.
Okay, then I'll make my, recommendations when the discussion comes up.
Okay, I move we approve the minutes of March 6th meeting.
I will second.
Now you say discussion.
Discussion.
There you go. I noticed in the last meeting that we're missing a citizen that was here, Tina Tarani.
She didn't sign in.
Well, I know she didn't, but we're not being told to sign in. I mean, if they have not been to council meetings or anything for a while, they don't know to sign in. But Tina Tarani was here and she did, have some, comments and they're not in the minutes. So, just FYI.
Also too, for the proper procedure, comments should come up and sit down and identify yourself, so we get it on the recording.
Oh, okay. Again, we should tell the citizens that,
Yeah.
you know, cause, I mean, some of them don't come to council, so.
Thank you.
We did decide we wanted.
Yes, we do want public comments, yeah. But I just noticed she's missing and her comments are missing.
Do you have the correct spelling of her name?
Tina is Tina.
It's T-O-R-A-N-I.
Tarani.
T-A-R-A-N-I.
I don't have it pronounced, there's no her name. I
I was happy to hear it pronounced. But I don't say that.
Not all comments make it to minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion about the minutes?
So are they gonna get changed and are we approving them with the changes? Or what?
It's up to you guys.
Was everybody else's comments in the? I mean,
Yes.
Everybody else made it into it,
It's
right?
just Tina didn't, and I know she had some comments that she was making, but everybody else seemed to be in
Yeah, so what's the proper procedure for that, to make sure that they get out?
Come up to the seat and state
Well,
their name, but nobody
But
did.
as far
so.
as this procedure, we've made a motion and seconded. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan, you have to, restate the second to approve the minutes with what changes you want, or we don't approve them and they come back,
Correct, yeah.
whichever
I
way.
would recommend at this point tabling the approval, have, Marilyn will update them with comments, and they can be approved at the next meeting.
Okay.
That's the cleanest. Yeah,
So move to table the minutes, approval of the minutes for our next meeting.
so whoever made the motion needs to
Retract it.
withdraw their motion.
I withdraw my motion to approve the minutes of March 6th. And I'll make a new motion to table the approval of those minutes for our next meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, public comments.
You have a list?
One so far.
Oh, Gary's coming with another one?
Yeah, turn that in.
What's that?
Keep on first.
We need to do protocol.
Okay, so I just wanna, just clarify something, Tiffany Pruitt, City of Cascade. I just want to clarify some things. I think, Bernard's interpretation of why the no new fees and taxes initiative, got on the charter or voted on by the people was because it was more than a fee for the EMS. There was a lot of shenanigans going on. The city was borrowing money from the electric department, the, old fire department was getting overpriced and there was just lots of things going on, and then there was also the Cascade Meadows things was all going on at the same time. And the citizens didn't feel like that they had good representation with their council, and so they took matters into their own hands. So and you know, sometimes that happens, and that's why it happened. And also, I would just ask that the city be more fastidious, whatever, thorough in getting the agenda posted to the Facebook page, because it wasn't on there today. It might have got put on later after I looked at it, but it was not on the Facebook page, so, thank you.
Gary?
Well, I'm here for the same reason that Tiffany just mentioned. The whole issue started long before Bernard was here and before the fire hall issue began with, in my recollection, it began with the Cascade Meadows, or we call it the McCoy project at the time, McCoy property. And what this did was this started the breakdown in the trust between the citizens and the city council and our city administrator and the city planner. They were proposing a project that was totally against the code. And they held several town hall meetings, and the citizens showed up and, you know, expressed their disgust for the project. You know, they wanted to put 70 units up there where the seniors things are on that small piece of property in that little neighborhood, and that was just outrageous. So that kind of began the distrust that the citizens had. And then another big one that Tiffany didn't mention was we had a fire chief that basically ran off the volunteer fire department. We had a pretty good volunteer fire department for years here. And he believed in a paid fire department, which was his prerogative, I guess. But it didn't set well with us because a small community, and back then, you know, this was prior to the 2008 recession, and we were still struggling in this community. And to think that we could afford a fully paid fire department was kind of ludicrous. And so we knew that that would be an expensive proposition. And if you don't trust your city council and your city administrator, you know where things can go. You can end up, they can decide that we'll have a paid fire department and run the cost way up to the citizens. So anyway, that was the start. As I remember, that's when I got concerned. And things got worse from there on. As Tiffany pointed out. And the reason it's unsettled and the reason it's unclear, we did make a mistake, I guess, when we wrote the ballot measure. We assumed that if you use the term taxes, that meant one thing, fees meant a thing. So then we included charges, and we thought this word covered everything, no matter what. If the city was gonna charge the citizens for something, however they termed it, we felt it was covered. Well, the city attorney, you know, advised the city council that that wasn't true, that they could decide. And so that threw the ball back in the citizens' court. And like I say, you know, times were tough. We didn't feel like we could afford to go to court to fight this. So we let it go, and we expressed our disapproval with when it came down to vote for the next city council. You know, so just because the attorney says it some way, doesn't really mean legally that's true. And I would say that things are a little more prosperous, so you're always faced with the fact that the citizens could take you to court. And I think you should remember that. There are those of us who are willing to take it to court. And it's just a question of the timing and getting the people behind us. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. And I would also like to say that it's come to the attention of some of us that it's possible that the trust is breaking down once again. I would point out that a 4-day work week for the office is probably not palatable to a lot of us. I think the way you're running this committee is probably not palatable to a lot of us. You have vacant positions and you have people applying and you're not putting them on the committee. So it starts with these small things and it grows over time. There's some other things that are, I haven't been paying attention, but I've heard the way things are being handled by the city administrator. Purchase orders, I've heard rumors, I don't know if they're true, and I haven't looked into it, but if things continue to disintegrate, you know, we'll start looking into things. But getting back to the issue of the ballot measure, I would like to see the word rate included in the revised amendment to the charter. Maybe with a pass-through for BPA costs, because you can't control this. And it's probably not fair that you have to go wait for a 4-year election cycle to raise rates. But I would advise you, if you do that, to do it on the cost basis, not on the percentage basis. BPA will raise it a percentage or whatever. They do it both ways, but what the city does is BPA will raise it, say 0.3 cents, which comes out to be a percentage, let's say 2%. Then they'll raise their rates 2%. Well, no, raise it 0.3 cents. That could be a pass-through on the amended charter. Make it simple. What was another thing I thought about? If I think of it, I'll bring it up again, but anyway, that's my suggestions.
Gary. So is posting to Facebook something that we're supposed to be doing? To the,
Actually, it's a courtesy. We're only really supposed to post at the post office and the store. Social media is a courtesy
okay,
to post.
We did post though, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, not until today.
On Facebook, is that what you got, when you say
Yes.
post, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
The Facebook went today, but the post office went.
Yeah, that was last
Yeah,
week.
Do you not post to council?
Oh, yeah, I posted councils on Facebook.
One the day of?
Sometimes.
No, I thought we did it last week, but
Okay.
yeah, we'll make sure it's the week ahead like normal.
And now we're on to. We're doing the charter where we left off last week.
Chapter 4, we finished up, right?
We're finishing at 4 and 4.
Yeah.
And we did chapter 5, section 20, am I right?
Yeah, we move up to section.
Okay. Section 21.
Yes.
Let me see what, the model chart has for this section.
Yep.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'm having problems with the internet here. Can I get a paper copy? I've got the electronic of the model, but I don't have the electronic of the city. Do we have a city, an extra city or?
You want a hard copy?
Yes, please. Oh, that one. Thank
Nerd. Nerd prepared.
you. So I got that and we got the model. Oh,
Okay, here we go.
Wow, that's a lot.
So we get all the way to 8?
That,
No, this is what they have, this is the model charter.
Oh,
Let me see
okay.
what they wanted to say in these grades.
Oh, I see.
Because we only have.
Yeah, it's farther down in there.
Okay.
So let's. Take a quick jump back to section 20. We moved section 20 to section 17.
Yeah.
And section 17 is in chapter
Chapter
4
4.
council.
Mhm.
But administrator, judge, and city recorder, those are all good for powers and duties of city
The
officials.
official.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
They call these appointed officers.
yeah,
Yeah, city manager. Attorney, judge, court.
Yeah.
Yeah, same for you.
The same thing.
Is there anything in the model that stands out to anybody, anything anybody likes exceptionally? Anything that we're missing in ours, or short on?
Well, since our city administrator is here, Jordan, do you feel that this is adequate for you? Is it an adequate description of your responsibilities, your rights, your responsibilities?
Yeah. I mean, can definitely add more detail, but
But what's the difference between the city administrator and the city manager? So the model is saying city manager. Isn't there quite a bit of difference? I know.
mainly nuanced, but I think there is some difference between a manager and administrator.
Okay.
Can't tell you that right now. I'd have to look it up.
It's subtle, but there is two definitions for it. I
Yeah.
looked it up at some point, I don't
Yeah.
remember.
And do you feel that, given the duties that you have, are more of those of a city administrator versus a city manager?
Yeah.
So we're happy with that? Leave it as it is?
Mhm.
Yeah, this goes into more detail of the process of appointing, removing, even some of the job duties of the manager.
Yeah, so does our charter talk about how the manager is appointed and then removed somewhere else?
Is that not in your contract?
Yeah, it's in the contract, yeah.
Yeah. It's in his contract.
I don't think it's anywhere else in our charter though.
It just says that the appointed by and serves at the will of the council.
Yeah, I mean, LOC is obviously have a much thorough accounting for the responsibilities in that job.
Mhm.
I'd be honest, I would love to kind of hear a little more from them. I don't know if there's someone we could talk to, say, look what we got and look what you got. What are we opening opening ourselves up to by not having what you have? There's some
What the
blind
reasoning
there.
is for being so much more detailed, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to know why they landed on that versus, again, a very high level statement, 2 sentences about the city administrator.
Are you suggesting that we table deciding on this till we hear from them?
I would like a little more information from them on, their, how they came to this level of detail for that job. And I'm just looking at the other ones. Is it also very, I mean, the municipal judge, theirs is whatever. But we've got a lot more on municipal judge than we do, on administrators. I don't know. It's definitely piquing my curiosity.
The other charter that we've kind of been reviewing the most is Landon's,
Mhm.
and they have section 21 officers, and it covers manager, attorney, recorder, treasurer, and judge in 2 sentences.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
gonna,
never mind, second, there's part of the one, yeah, you're right, so it's a little more detail.
And again, that band one is what, 2005? How old is that? Or 95? Is that?
2002,
Yeah, so it's over 20 years old.
yeah.
And this was as of 2018, I think.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to know a little more about that.
I can reach out to them, and see if I can get some explanations.
So I move to table deciding on that. So we hear back.
We don't need to vote on it, I'll just.
It's staff direction.
Yeah.
Thank you. If the committee's okay with that.
Yes, fine. Yeah.
All right, section 22. Municipal judge. And I feel like, it's just like with the administrator and. Either we find out more why it isn't like the model, or we just accept it as is.
Well, I have a question on one of the sentences here. The court shall be open for transactions of judicial business at times specified by council. When you say judicial business, is that court proceedings. Because the court proceedings are determined by the city recorder. And when we can have them with the judge, not by the council. Council doesn't make any decisions on when they have
Yeah, no.
proceedings. So I believe that is, not correct.
Or it doesn't reflect our practice.
No,
I mean, we change it to have council start weighing in on that. but-
no.
Yeah.
We can hold this up and say, hey, council.
Bernard.
Or we could do what you're saying. I'm just saying, let's,
I think if you're gonna do it, you need to change it the way we've done it, that I've known of for 15 years.
Can we do it when it's the court recorder,
It's this, the city recorder
city recorder?
is the one that determines when we can have court as she talks to the judge.
when, does the model cover this at all? You guys-
The model does not, as far as I can see. It has two sections that are very minimal to ours.
Right. And if we change it there to reflect that, we should probably put that in the job responsibilities of the city clerk. Down below, it's section 23.
So the model charter also says as the council directs.
Where's that?
Page 15, section 8.3, line A,
Model charter,
on the model charter.
where did you say?
Page 15 of the document.
8.3A.
8.3A, yeah.
Oh,
The municipal judge will hold court in the city as such place as the council directs.
Okay, as such place, but not time.
So,
We're saying the council said when, right? Right, Mary Ann? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
that's what it
says.
says.
And that's not what's happened.
That's not what happens.
Yeah.
in the model charter, if you go down to the bottom of page 17, it says subjects covered by state law. Go down to the top of page 18 and it says public meetings and records. Is that applicable to this conversation?
No,
No, at all?
mhm.
Okay.
Not in my way of thinking, no.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Well, we've been letting the city, we've been waiting for the city recorder to tell us.
Well, the city recorder knows when an ordinance has been violated and when, it needs to go to court. So she's the one that does that. It's not council that determines a violation. It's the city recorder and the city administrator determines a violation. And they work with the judge to get a date.
That makes the most sense. It's not been an issue for council before that they haven't been allowed to exercise this
No.
right.
So, I don't know a lot about our court, but maybe you can help me, Mary Ann. So, are they not open like Monday through Friday, 8 to 5?
No, not our municipal court here.
This one.
That's not our municipal court.
Oh,
That's
okay.
justice
Yeah.
court. Municipal court is done
Literally
here,
held in the
hidden
council.
chamber, done here in chambers
I see.
on a day that the judge can be down.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it has nothing to do with justice
I
court.
think this was assuming we had like a more regular business hours. And then council would set that, but you're right, this is as needed.
Mm-hmm.
It is as
Yeah.
needed.
There hasn't been one in the 18 months I've been here, so,
We don't have them very often.
no. Oh, we're working on it.
They handle, like offenses against the ordinances, right?
Right, if the ordinance has
Yes.
been violated and the citizen or whomever does not correct that violation per the letter that they get, then, as it progresses, it gets sent to
Court
court.
gets bumped down
Yeah.
and gets court.
Mhm. But there's a lot of verbiage in here, which I have no problem with that.
Right. It's just if we change out from by the council to by the city recorder, is that what you're thinking? Because it is how we do it.
That's how we do it, and that's how we've done it as far as I can remember. But it's up to,
Yeah. As I'm looking at that sentence again, a lot of passive language in there.
It really is.
I think we should fix that and say, the recorder shall specify, when the court is open for the transaction of judicial businesses, period. You know what I'm saying? Instead of shall be specified by, no, there's like tons. We should clean that up. That would be my recommendation.
So could you repeat that again?
The city recorder shall specify times for the court to conduct transactions of judicial business or something to that effect.
I see.
You want place and time or just time?
Here it only talks about time, doesn't it?
yes, that's all it talks
Just
about.
leave it at time.
Doesn't talk about where you hold it.
I thought we rented the judicial court when we did ours.
No,
There hasn't been one since I've been here. so-
we have it right here in this chambers. This becomes a courtroom.
Yeah. So the model, does it talk about the operation? It doesn't really talk about the operation of the courtroom, does it?
No.
It's more, what was the
I think it's,
municipal court and judge?
Yeah, there is one that says municipal court judge.
is that covered by state statute? Is that determined by state statute for municipal court?
I don't know. Yeah, that's an attorney question.
It's right there at the bottom. Shall be governed by applicable general laws of the state governing justice and recusal justice for
Okay, well.
But see, what ours says is similar to what they say, it's just that ours is all in one paragraph
Yeah.
versus being.
versus
outlined.
outlining it on what he can do, or he or she can do. That's the difference. This is all one huge paragraph.
Yeah, and it's hard to read. Should we outline it, do you think? Does that make it easier?
I think it makes it easier to read and easier to understand.
I support that as well. So someone can quickly go, okay, what's in the municipal judge, okay, here's the thing, there's 1 through 8, you know? Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes total sense to me to outline it like this.
Yeah,
This way it's easier to read and it's not one
Yeah.
paragraph and almost one
But
sentence.
instead of us doing that, trying to like work, I don't know, if you or maybe Kathy or somebody could take a stab at that.
Yeah, we can
Bring
work
us
some
out.
and have the attorney review it.
But you see what our intent is?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. That would be our request.
Yeah.
That's my request. How's that sound, Mary Ann?
Yes, I agree with that.
All right. So let's set the municipal judge section aside
Mhm.
and wait on there.
excellent.
Okay.
Right, you feel okay with that, Shelley?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just thinking of
That's okay.
All right. Are we ready for?
Yeah, I think so.
23.
Any other discussion on 22?
Confirm, are we removing any language about council specifying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I support Mary Ann, but I would like our attorney to say why it says council in the first place. You know, somebody thought about that before they said that, so I'd like to know why it says council now. And then say, well, that's not good enough to continue this practice or this proposal and we'll fix it.
Does,
That's
does
fine.
council have to declare it like, you know, like a public meeting? No. Okay.
No,
What I'm wondering
not that
is,
I'm aware of, we never have.
because in the other charter, it says that the council determines where. The place, not the time, is
In a model or in band?
The model.
in the model.
Okay.
So if that got somehow just switched around, to be place and time or included time instead.
It's a good theory, it's a good theory. I just want the attorney to tell me,
I
hey,
agree.
this is probably what they intended. And then we can, again, just full understanding, say yay or nay.
So, because the abandoned one also says set by the council.
Does it? So this, there might be a common theme here,
So it says the council or its designee may appoint a municipal judge pro term for a term of office. Oh, well, that one says for a term of office set by the council, so.
But that's different
Yeah,
than
that's-
variant.
Thank you for pointing that out, Mary. Interesting.
Oh, wait, no, okay, wait, no, hold on. No, and then it does. No, it said, and then in section 27 of the abandoned one, it says the functions of the municipal court may be fulfilled by a state court when so appointed and designated by the council. So again,
Council doesn't decide who our judge is, anything like that. We get our attorney to get us a judge, I think is what we did when our other judge retired. I think Ruben went and looked for a judge and a judge that would come down here and do it, I think.
Wait to see what the attorney says about 22.
Yes, please.
Okay, section 23.
So I don't, where is that on does the model talk about the recorder? I'm not seeing that.
I thought you made a comment it did.
Other person
Is that-
It does not, it's about city attorney.
But not the recorder.
not see the word.
All right, but Bannon talks about the recorder.
Yes.
Just open that up, yeah.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I would be curious to ask the attorney, why the LOC model doesn't even have it. Do we need it? You know, maybe we don't need it. We don't need it, then look, that's a member of staff that the manager
Yeah,
manages,
I mean-
that's
it's
just,
an administrative function here.
I
yeah,
believe
we
this
don't
is-
mention public works and.
It's an administrative function and it's in her, job description of what she does. And so I'm not sure why it's in ours. No
Yeah,
idea.
I don't know, 1995 was a long time ago.
right.
Yeah, too long ago.
Who knows?
So are you saying that if we can eliminate it, we should?
Yeah.
Unless someone has a good reason why we should keep it.
I think it's in here, as long as there's something mentioned about record keeping of proceedings, which I think it's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen some language.
I gotta remember how they worded that now.
Does a record of council proceeding.
Section 3.9 is record.
Shall maintain the records of the city.
Yeah, we talked about that, yeah, records of proceedings, section 15, yeah.
And Bernard, what you're saying is that's a question we should be asking.
I would like to ask them that, say, model doesn't have it. What changed, but we have it from 1995. Did something evolve where, whatever the law or whatever protocol changed that newer charters don't include that?
Yeah.
You said that's the LLC that?
Again, I feel like, that first thing I was thinking, why am I having an LLC? I'm not sure you asked the LLC. I feel like we start with the attorney, and the attorney would have maybe an LOC point of contact
Okay, yeah.
for legal affairs, I don't know, I'll let you manage that, George. I don't have the best, path. I'm just gonna, yeah. Someone who's familiar with charters to give us feedback on, that earlier question as well as this recorder question. Okay,
Wait for the attorney on that one also.
that's my request, yes, please.
Sound good to everybody else?
Yeah, that one.
Chapter 6. Now, we've moved a lot of stuff into chapter 6.
Yes, we have.
Well, we have to rewrite,
Counselors,
got it.
mayor, and,
Oh, yes.
and 12. Qualifications of the council. Section 24.
Is there a conduct of elections in here? I didn't, and then,
Yeah, so section
Right there.
7 is
Same
where
thing.
the
yeah, it just says elections,
Section 20, that's us. And in the model,
it doesn't say, at least what I'm seeing, does not say if there is, I'm sorry, I'm on tie votes, I'm sorry.
oh,
Jeez.
didn't factor in.
all right, so where do you wanna go? Where are we supposed to be
Well,
on?
the conduct of elections, I believe, is pretty close to
Yeah.
what they're saying here.
Yeah,
Yeah, let.
The term of counselor,
In 7.3,
pretty boilerplate, yeah.
yeah,
must conform to state law, blah, blah, blah.
right,
And we're all nonpartisan.
yes.
Yeah. We just leave section 24.
You want section 24 alone? Group,
Yeah.
It's good.
Do we wanna add that nonpartisan sentence?
that's never come up before.
So there is a note on the model specifically about the nonpartisan sentence. The last
41,
sentence,
Here we go,
the last sentence of this section makes specific the Oregon tradition, that local government elections are nonpartisan. This provision is included in the county home rule charter and county charters. It is also consistent with the MCL model charter, 8th and 9th edition.
Well,
So should we?
yeah. So NCL is national, is that in National City League?
City League, I think.
Is that right?
I thought they were in NLC, National League of Cities.
No, you're right. I don't, what NCL is, and maybe it's a typo.
Maybe. Let's see. Model.
National Civic League.
Civic League, yeah.
Civic. Okay. I don't know, I kinda like nonpartisan.
I'm not against it.
I'm not
I'm
against
throw that in there.
I like that it's in there, I don't like that tradition.
Me too.
So we add the nonpartisan.
That sentence,
that's in section 24.
24, yeah.
Section 25.
So tie votes,
Yeah, I
where is that in the,
see that in here. Do they not?
I'm not seeing it either,
I don't see the tie vote thing in here.
but I think it should be in there.
I do.
We're a small enough community.
I do
Very
agree,
well.
we've had, ties
Very
before.
close. Last couple of elections.
Yeah.
All right, so we're agreeing to keep it. Now, what about how it's worded? How's that? I need to reread it here.
Is this a physical like we all get together, like?
I have no idea what a
Forum.
public drawing of lots
Lots.
in a manner prescribed by the council.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
So you have to put your hat in the name and
Yeah, well,
It sounds like a little New
But it's-
England town hall
Yeah.
thing.
I don't think a
Shows
bingo.
up with their top hat. Here, here. That's right. Yeah, I feel like we should know what that means before we keep it.
Says it's a lottery or a raffle. It's a method of randomly selecting a winner or winners from a pool of participants in a public drawing of lots. Each participant typically receives a ticket or an entry that is then placed into a container. A designated person or system then randomly selects one. Like
Okay.
your bingo ball, I guess, right? See,
Basically.
it just comes
Names
out.
in the hat, yeah.
That just doesn't sound, names that, yeah, piece of paper kosher here.
Yeah, no, I think that should be it.
Well, how did
Should
they
have a
do it
wrap.
last time there was a tie?
Do we revote? No,
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah,
revote,
you can't redo the election.
you can't revote.
So what do we do?
I mean,
Tom, do you know what they did the last time we had a tie?
do you remember what?
In a regular election,
I'm putting you on the spot, Tom. Flip a coin? Okay, we flipped a coin. I mean, that's basically, this is saying.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So the banding says that the tie votes in the event of a tie vote for candidates for an elected office, the successful candidate is determined in a manner prescribed by resolution. So I think
At
it's
any point, the council,
council would
I-
come up with a
plan.
determination.
Yeah, council would pick, yeah.
Well, no, council would pick, but they would determine how the picking would be done.
In a
Oh,
resolution just for that.
Here's what I see happening.
Yeah.
If there is no resolution, council will pick it one time this way, next year this way.
Yeah,
To be
totally agree.
standard and keep it
I agree.
consistent, you have to specify that, whether it be in a resolution or whether it be here.
I think it should be here.
I think it should be here too.
Resolutions can be changed.
Exactly, I think it should be here.
No, it should be in our chart.
And how we pick that, I mean, how we choose how to do that tie, it should be standard.
Okay, but what is wrong with like, okay, you have two people who tie, you put two names in a hat. And again, a public, so
Right.
no one knows that there's someone biasing. You have a random guy from the audience, pick one of the names.
So, and that's the
I mean, that's
point,
what a public
that's the
drawing.
difference between putting it in here and putting it in a resolution. And
Exactly.
putting it in a resolution is we learn better and we do better. It gives people the opportunity to say, hey, this didn't work. This needs to change, without having to go all the way back to the charter and do it.
All right, well then my response is, let's do it right now. So it doesn't need to change.
Right,
In the
that's what I'm
chart.
saying, is like,
You're saying that if we do it in a resolution, we have a chance to say, okay, this year it didn't work, we need to increase it, we need to do something different.
right.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Where if we have it in here and it doesn't work,
You gotta change
you
the
gotta
charter.
change it to go to the
Okay.
right people.
All right, here's another thought. So I would be okay in the resolution, but I feel like the charter needs to set the intent of the resolution that says something to the effect that by resolution, so long as the resolution,
It's very.
ensures a fair and random selection of the candidates who are in a tie. We gotta put some side.
Yes.
Right, absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah, because I can see a situation where, well, what do you mean it didn't work last time? Who decided it didn't work last
Yeah,
time and why didn't
I
it
get it, I get that,
work?
yes.
We'll definitely put some parameters on it here, but
Mm-hmm.
I would like to give people the option to fix it,
They
if
can-
something's
yeah.
wrong later without having to go back to the charter.
Fine enough, but like I said, I just want, yeah.
So what
And
is it gonna say?
I hate to be an annoyance to our attorney, but I really feel like the attorney should give us some proposed language on this. To make sure, again, we're considering these, attorneys, what their job is, that they manage risk, they ask, what all the things can go wrong if a council does this or city administrator does that, that's what they do, the what if drill. And they can tell us what all the what ifs are behind setting a sideboard, what can go awry,
So if I can.
that helps me.
ORS 254.575 procedure when tie vote. When two or more candidates for the same office after a full recount of votes have an equal and the highest number of votes. They basically say the elections officer shall have the candidates meet publicly and decide by lot who is elected.
By
So
law.
this reflects Oregon's, the state statute,
This is
What's by lot?
that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
You
that's-
just read.
Yeah.
Because their names in a hat.
Pull the name out of a hat.
Or a big old.
Yeah, public drawing
The
lots.
strongest, the longest straw, or.
Yeah, it says a lottery or raffle.
Yes, a lot of your raffle.
Yeah, method of randomly selecting the winner.
Whatever spreadsheet has-
That's done in the public, so anybody
Can
can
see that.
see that it's not being rigged. Yeah.
Yeah, it says each participant typically receives a ticket or an entry and then places
Yeah.
a container. That's typical, but
Right, and so so the part here where it says, in a manner prescribed by council. Means that council decides when, where, and how it's gonna be done, is my guess. But it's that drawing.
But what they're doing, the what, should be very clear. It's a public drawing of
Yes.
lots.
Just like it
Yes.
says in the state
Yeah.
statutes.
Well, they should follow state law.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, but maybe predetermine what the lot is, so that it's not.
It's, but that would be predetermined because it's
Yeah.
all.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, it preempts anything you wanna write.
So again, that's 254.575.
I mean, the more I look at it, the more I think this actually works. That's where I'm at.
That's ORS
Yeah,
254-575, right?
254.575. And but that's just talking for a state senator or representative, but I mean, it just, you know, I mean, if it
It
applies
does,
for
yeah.
them, it should apply, it should apply for
Yeah, I
all
think
the
that-
town too.
yeah.
These are elections.
So we keeping it then?
Mhm.
We're not putting any parameters on it.
I think that's enough, because that reflects the ORS, that's my take.
You think this reflects the ORS?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't, I think it gives a ton of freedom there, though.
I know. What does it mean in a manner prescribed by council? What does that mean? Council can choose how they wanna make the drawing, how they wanna,
Yeah, exactly. They can put things in a hat, they can say, we're gonna put 2 balls in a thing, and you get, each candidate pick the ball you want, you know, there's lots of ways you can do a random drawing. But a public drawing of lots is what that's the sideboards that the council has to meet.
when.
so are you saying that the council cannot put the 2 people in the thing and draw it? Are you saying the
Yeah,
public has to do it? What are you saying? Because that determines whether I like this or not.
Well,
Just being honest, I mean,
so what would you like? That would be easier for us, like.
I don't want manner prescribed by council. I have a problem with that word, manner described by council.
I would take that out because it's in a manner prescribed by the ORS. Right, like, I mean, it's saying public drawing lots, I mean, how would we?
But can you reread that ORS for us, please?
Okay, when 2 or more candidates for the same office after a full recount, okay, so I have it. So for the senator or representative, it says, the candidates meet publicly to decide by lot who is elected. Then, for nomination by one major political party to an office, shall have candidates meet publicly to decide by lot who is nominated. That's all that it gives. It doesn't give anything more. Decide by lot.
Mary, and maybe it sounds like I have an issue with who actually administers the thing. Is it council or a third party actually administering? Or am I wrong?
Well, I'm seeing council administers it. Okay, if council is administering it, then that becomes the mayor decides how we're gonna do this. I have an issue with that.
But why do you say that? It's just saying in a manner prescribed by the council. So.
Have you watched
the
council lately?
You need 4 votes. You need 4 votes for the council to take an action. So 4 people would have to agree in this manner on conducting a public drawing of lots.
4 people to agree right now is not gonna be very hard for the mayor to get. I don't think there's enough diversity in the council for it to be.
Is
That's
this
up to the
something that
council.
could be determined by the city recorder as the, city election official?
Again, it needs to be put in here, that, you know,
I don't
what
know.
that public drawing.
I don't know, is that
But not what's.
Or you could just say
her
it's
job?
determined by lot as conducted by city council.
Well, but then that still leaves it open for.
But you have to do it by lot.
Yeah, the thing is, that's, I think, that's where I'm at, is
That
Yeah.
lot guarantees the right.
yeah, and as long as a public drawing by lot,
Yeah.
council can't bias
Public
this,
lot,
it's
a public
impossible.
lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Public lot. A publicly held
That,
lot.
you know, they try to do that, and again, candidates have rights, if you have a two-tie thing, and council knowingly biases this public drawing by lot, then you can sue the thing, like you violated your charter, because there wasn't a properly conducted public drawing of lots.
Yeah, it's gonna be in public, it's gonna be on these guys, it's not.
The candidates will be there.
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room for council to, you know, to hand select whoever they want in the tie.
You could put the bigger
There's
piece of
not-
paper in the hat, right?
Well,
You can always just
No,
put a piece of paper.
yeah.
Or drawing.
If it's okay in there, why strong it out?
Fix the longest.
Yeah, to me, that's,
I think there are computer programs now that do random selection.
and there's that too, there's lots of ways to make sure it's completely random.
Ever been to the most push-ups?
Dang it, I don't win.
I wanted to do a wrestling match, so you have to wrestle in front of council.
Ooh,
I
that'd
can
be
let
If you ever pin, then that, they
They
get,
got a cakewalk.
I mean, if it's two, you literally can flip a coin, you know, as long as they agree on the coin,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That is a public drawing of lots, you know? So,
Shirley, you keep talking.
No, I think that if it's okay in there, why isn't it okay out of there? Why does it have to be decided by council? If it's okay in there, why isn't it okay
This
out?
has to be decided by somebody, you have to.
By the ORS though, isn't it? Already decided by
No,
them?
the ORS doesn't really,
They don't tell you what
They
kind
don't
of
tell you
lot,
who.
they just say by lot.
and they don't tell you who has to.
Or
do it.
where.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
the
set it
details,
aside.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then should we do that? Should we be the ones to say, this is how it's gonna be done? And for the city charter, this is how it's gonna be done. And this is who's gonna conduct it, right? It should be. Maybe not somebody in city council, maybe not people in city council, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I don't, I mean,
I
if
think
they follow
If
the
we're not
definition
going
of
to trust
GS.
city council to make this decision, what gives us the authority to make this decision?
But
We're not making the decision of
Yeah, the
who it is.
citizens will vote on this,
Right.
we're giving them a proposed language for this, all this stuff with that, you know, ultimately
If you
they.
guys are fine with that, I'm okay. I'll shut
should
my
it say
mouth.
after a recount? No?
Oh, the language about after a recount is kind of nice, actually.
Yeah.
Isn't that,
That's under the.
is it
OS.
normal?
It's kind of
Standard.
given, yeah.
Well, it might be, maybe this year, maybe
Because
not next year.
The counts,
Just
the
a month.
counts are done by the county.
Right.
And if there's a tie, they are required to recount.
I believe they are required to recount, I don't know, but
Guess we could have.
I'm assuming that that's part of the state law.
And there's some kind of threshold, it's within percentage rights or something, I don't know what that number is, but.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
You're correct.
yeah.
So does the county have anything to say about a tie on a city issue?
No.
I don't
City
believe
issue
so.
or
I see outcome of the election, because they control the election.
They control the election, and
Yeah, so do they have something to say about that?
I don't know.
And that's a good question for our attorney again, yeah,
Bernard is just making it do.
I know,
The attorney's gonna just come down here and throttle you.
well.
I'll be waiting for you.
I've
on
been
the
throttled
board.
before, somehow survive.
Yeah, I don't know what the county, rules are.
Fair question,
For a tie vote.
we should ask them.
Did they recount automatically, is it a certain percentage?
I think it's a threshold.
I mean, you would assume, but
Because they're supposed to declare the winner,
Yes,
they have to certify the
yes,
election.
they certify the
So there
election.
must be something in their rules that, well, how they handle a
Exactly.
tie, yeah.
And maybe that's why it's not in the model
That might be,
Yeah,
because
It's possible.
it's, dealt with it elsewhere.
at, at another, yeah, level of governance. I mean, yeah, it's a good question. I think, again, ask the attorney to talk to the county.
because the last one says to have the candidates meet publicly to decide by law who is nominated. Maybe the candidates should be the ones to decide.
What they think is
know.
fair.
Yeah, I mean, if they agree to it.
They get turned together.
It can be.
Well, I agree with you about the language, that there's very little chance that the council, under a public drawing of lots, that the council can influence the outcome of the drawing.
Of the tie.
I also agree with Mary Ann. I think that there's a lot of discussed in city council. And that, language that these things, like, it's gonna raise that question, sorry, well, even though it's, I think logically, logistically impossible to do it. I think that we should at least be sensitive to that. And yes, you're right, take it to the attorney.
Yeah, well, yeah, if the attorney and or county has a solution that negates this language, then to me, that's the happy answer, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you can ask the attorney, it's not in the model,
right.
so how are these other cities doing it when it's not in the model?
Yeah,
Somehow,
Somehow they do it.
small
Yeah.
city, you know,
they don't have to,
yeah.
So wait for the attorney on that one too?
Of course, my request.
at this rate, we're gonna get through the charter so fast.
And then we're gonna have to go back around.
So apparently in 2016, two candidates tied and they rolled the dice. Here in Oregon, so.
Yeah, so there you go, it's a.
They rolled the dice.
Oh,
Yep.
the
I
dice.
think it would be so much more sophisticated.
Was it high
Well, you
score,
would think
high
so.
score or low score? That one.
Yahtzee, they almost gave me Yahtzee.
I'd be down with that. Okay, right?
All right, section 26, commencement of terms of office.
I have no problem with that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Any problems with that one, Bernard?
Looks good to me.
Wonderful.
Wow. Hot dog.
Section 27, oath of office.
And then the mom,
That's fine.
stuff like.
No, it's good to me.
I don't know if it's. Mayor and council must work.
I like ours better than the model.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
We,
Ours is fine.
Okay, all good?
Mm-hmm.
28 nominations.
And the model calls it, is vacate vacancies, is that what?
No, because we've got
No.
vacancies further down.
Yeah.
Oh, we do, so what is
the
it?
nomination, just, it's part of election.
This is part of the elections.
Yeah,
Um,
how do you nominate? Or how do
Council must adopt an ordinance prescribing the manner for a person to be nominated to run for mayor or a city council position. That's what the model charter says.
Can you say that again?
We gotta adopt an ordinance.
Council must adopt an
Resolution.
ordinance
Ordinance.
prescribing the manner.
Oh, so like we've had to move stuff into ordinances before. Or we moved one out. So whatever we decide should actually be in ordinances, yes, or council consider it.
Yeah, unless, does our section? It looks like it's very detailed, does it also talk about an ordinance, or does it basically do all the ordinance right here?
What I'm reading
It says
now.
nomination petitions shall be filed with the city recorder as provided by ordinance. Or if not so provided. But as required by state law.
Okay.
I see. It's really more of an ordinance. In that-
Yeah, if we gotta do an ordinance anyway, I'm kind of leaning towards the,
Isn't there an already ordinance? I'm
I
putting you on the spot
I
here.
can look it up. I can't say I
I
recall
don't-
seeing that one, but.
I know this is how we do it. I know that's how Kathy does it. But I didn't realize there was an ordinance.
If we can move it into, create an ordinance, turn this part into an ordinance and replace this language with what's in the model. Because again, we're saying that it's a $20 filing fee. It's set in the charter. It can't be raised without an amendment to the charter.
Right, it has been there forever, $20.
or you gotta get 20
20
votes.
elections,
Yeah.
20 signatures
signatures.
of electors.
Right. And in an ordinance, it's, the council would decide, like, if they wanted to make changes to that, am I correct? They could say, no, we really, like, we're big enough now that you should at least have 25 electors or 50 electors.
Tandem says 25, so.
Ours says 20 right now.
Right.
I think this is a question for Kathy, is whether we have an ordinance for that.
Just a quick search, I'm not seeing one.
I like it. I like the idea that you have the ability to change.
Yeah, no, I'm leaning toward, we shrink this thing to what the model says, you know?
Yeah,
And the ordinance directs how the nominations work,
and recommend to the council to adopt an ordinance on nomination.
if they haven't already done so.
I don't think so, because it's just you fill out the application and either get signatures or pay, I don't.
That's basically what you do.
Right. But that's because, I mean, we do that because it's in the charter, but we're suggesting
Yeah,
it's much, we need the flexibility of having it as an ordinance rather than simply being in the charter.
If it's an ordinance and it's in the charter, and they change the chart or the ordinance, would you have to change the charter too?
Yeah, that'd be contradictory, yeah.
Right, okay.
Say that again?
Okay, so we have it in the charter.
Yes.
Now, if they have an ordinance that says the same thing, we're fine. But if council decides to change the ordinance and change how many people or the dollar figure or whatever, then you have to come back and change the charter.
Right, but you understand what we're talking about. We're saying,
I know what you're saying.
pull all that language out, just
And
put
put
it in
it
Word.
as an
Yeah.
ordinance.
Yes.
So
So that's the
don't,
guiding document for the nomination process.
Right. Because in ordinances in the charter, as far as they appear in the charter, it mostly just says how they're enacted, how they're adopted. And then, of course, there's the language about being voted upon, some of them,
Right, so you see that footnote.
but it's not listing the actual ordinance
Yes.
in the charter.
No,
No, you don't.
No, you wouldn't do that, yeah.
That if we remove that, be a two-step process, assuming this goes to a vote and it passes, we would then have to, council would then have to do the ordinance process.
Correct.
An act that to essentially replace this.
Yeah,
That's correct.
yeah.
is that what you want to do?
I would like to do that. I mean, look, they would have plenty of time
Yeah,
before the next election. So you gotta do an ordinance for the next election.
2 years, yeah,
Yeah.
unless some kind of special election pops up.
Yeah,
And the reason I think it's better as an ordinance is I feel like the fabric of this city is changing dramatically. We have a lot of people who we know don't live here, they're actually operating Airbnbs, but they're listed as a resident, or they list this as their primary residence where they vote, and they don't actually live here. You know, and we might want to create more stringent residency rules, or we might want to relax them.
Hmm.
I just see that we might want to be able to be a lot more responsive.
Yeah, and again, like the fact that we're stuck at 20 electors, you know,
And a $20.
yeah, it seemed like
20 electors is probably back in.
1995.
1995, there was population of just under 1,000.
Oh, 30 years ago, right.
So it's not like.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a difference in percentage of the population.
But yeah,
I guess if I was on board, I would want to see what an ordinance would look
Well,
like
that's what I would want
Yeah.
to do.
before
sure,
making that change.
I wanna see what the ordinance is gonna be.
that's fine by me, I
Can we
mean,
look at a model ordinance or?
yeah. That should be hard to find, I mean,
So in that case, council would need to adopt an ordinance before it goes to a vote.
I mean, do we have
no.
maybe a city that has an ordinance for,
I'm sure we can find one.
something like this? Is that what you're
Because it
asking?
wouldn't
Yeah, yeah,
apply, it wouldn't apply until after the election,
Correct, yeah.
so. I mean, they could either work on it from November to the end of December, or the new council could.
Yeah.
The new council
Yeah.
could work on it in the new year.
I would suggest maybe seeing, well, Bandon, does Bandon have it in here? Do they have?
They just have the same wording that we do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of, they just 25.
So, yeah, that's our homework request from the.
Well, are you getting your homework list done today, huh?
Yeah.
Tracking.
Well, hopefully Marilyn's helping. Not only by herself.
Now, she's like,
Okay, so we're gonna wait to look at an existing ordinance
Mhm.
yeah,
and see if we want
I think
to
that's
change
great.
section 20 into an ordinance.
and then adopt them all.
Then we'll see if we want to do that or leave it.
Basically, that's what I'm proposing.
Now, we decided that we wanted to do a minimum of 3 chapters a meeting, is that right?
Because
So
it
we
was-
would continue on if we wanted to, I feel like since we're gonna have to circle back to all of this, that we
It
should.
should
continue
continue,
on.
yeah.
We say we either 3 or 8, right?
3 o'clock, 3 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Three chapters or 8 o'clock.
Whatever comes.
Yeah.
But we've done
Let's
3 chapters.
continue to extend,
So
so I'm
let's do-
okay going to 8, if you
Let's go
guys.
to eight.
I would definitely.
Okay.
Let's go to 8.
Go on.
Mhm.
The more we can get done now.
Yes.
All right,
We didn't
so-
really get any of that done just.
That's right. We have a whole bunch of stuff for the attorney and for.
Well, we gotta,
Can I ask a question that's kind of a little off topic, but how is this gonna be presented to the voters? Is it gonna be a whole charter that will vote up or down, yes or no? Or will it be in each, we'll vote on each change? Because you're gonna go to a lot of work here. And there might be, let's say 10 changes, considerable changes. And I look at it as a voter, I say, well, I like 5 of them, but I don't like 5 of them. Do I vote up or down?
I was wondering that
Am I
also.
correct, Jordan, is that the ones that will go before the voters are the ones that will be changed? Not the ones that we move from section this to section that, because they're the same, it's just in a different section.
From my understanding, it'd be one vote, but an
On
other
the
than.
entire chart.
On the whole chart?
Yeah, with the amount of changes we are making.
That could be a detriment. Really good.
So,
And as, like, we can only recommend to the city council.
Correct.
They
Council will
can
final
throw out
decision.
if they like or don't like.
Final decision whether they wanna go with it or not.
They're not supposed to have any say, this charter review is supposed to be a citizen thing, the council's not supposed to have any say, they either pass it on to be voted on, or as far as I know, but they're not supposed to have any say, they can't make any changes in what you do. It's only supposed to be citizen pure review.
Well, when we print it out and or present it, there's a way to. You guys do like red lines, right, where it's red, obvious, this has been deleted or this has been added. What if we just made the ones that we moved blue or something of that nature, so you can say like, this is still in its entirety as it was, just moved. So
Move
that
to
way
the
it's.
proper section is what we're trying to do.
Right, as a,
There would be a narrative. There,
Yeah.
with footnotes,
Right, and with, I think, references to the model charter.
Bernard,
So we can do that for kind of a version that floats around the community.
Yeah.
But the voters pamphlet, you can't do
I
that.
can't do that.
That's gonna be
Big
a,
law.
yes, and show the charter that we proposed,
It's gonna make it tough.
and it's not gonna, you know,
right,
yeah, so.
I think you're right, Gary, I think it's gonna be tough to pass. Because like he says, maybe he agrees with this section, but he doesn't agree with that
Yeah.
section. So is he gonna vote it down or let it go? That's gonna be a tough one.
That's,
And
yeah,
it, you know, it, just speaking as a voter, I would say, well, if I'm unsure, it's worked so far this way, let's just,
Mhm.
you know, it'll be resistant to change, I would think.
And I'm not sure that.
Why can't you bring it forward
In
each change is up or down?
But the
Because
other,
then you're still.
again, that's another attorney question.
I don't know how much.
That's
How much-
third base. What's on second, who's on first, third base.
So you're saying to bring every change individually on the ballot?
Up or down, yeah.
I don't
I
know.
don't know if that's the right way.
We're looking at 20 different votes by this point already,
something
and we're
else
halfway through.
we can look at is,
It might also change how many changes you make,
It might,
if we
because
create,
you might want this to go through.
if we create two versions, one where here's our ideal, here's all of our hard work, here's
Yeah.
how it matches the model, here's the big jump,
and
where we can
here's bare minimum.
say, here's this one, here's where we fix the spelling error and.
well,
Make the
spelling errors
recorder-
shouldn't have to go. I know,
But we reorganized stuff.
we have reorganized it, not changed the verbiage, just changed where it goes so that the charter flows better.
Easier to
It's
understand.
easier to
Easier to
understand.
read.
That could be
right.
explained real easy. to
And that's why I was
yeah,
thinking of-
yeah, yeah.
For a different color while we present it.
And of course, the big issues are the voting. We all know that that's gonna be the one that most people are gonna look at, but I also don't wanna be accused of sort of, you know, what do they call that when you stuff a bill? Like you put in lots of really good things to get people to vote for it, but bad things as well. So that they're, and you stuff it with stuff that people might not want, and I don't want us to be accused of doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the rest of the members feel, but I would welcome and would be open to a town hall where we have the final kind of what we think would be best in this document. And anybody can show up and ask us questions, like, why'd you do this? And we could talk and tell them how our conversation went, because they're not here. They have no idea
No, they don't.
how we're, parsing these issues.
Right.
And it would give them an opportunity to ask questions, and
And is it possible to publish it and then ask people to send us their comments as well?
we can do that too, yeah. We can do
A
all
lot
that.
of people aren't comfortable coming.
If we have the time, I would love to do a town hall and walk through the charter. We could, say, let's open up a Q&A and then we'll just highlight some of the big things.
The
we
things
did.
we change,
Yeah.
not the whole,
We don't need to go,
step by step.
especially if the language hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'd like to do that. I'm happy to do it.
What does it take to do that?
Town hall, a date in the gym,
We just have to post it.
then post it. Choose a date, but you gotta make sure you get the information out to the public, so they have a chance to look at it before you create the town. hall.
Yeah, given what we're changing, I'd say at least a 2-week notice.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
with making it available to people. to
Absolutely.
download, So they have a chance to look at it and
It's
make.
live, and there's 2 weeks after.
You're gonna have to do another way,
Maybe
because
even
some of these
3.
older folks do not have computers, they don't download, they don't do that. You have to, yeah, that's Tom, he doesn't do that. So we have to be able to get it to the public a different way. I don't know what way that is, but we have to think about that.
Newspaper. I don't know how many people read the newspaper.
That's a
here,
pretty big,
No,
that's pretty
I don't
big.
even
Read
read
the
the
newspaper.
They're mail.
but Well, it'd just be a notice of the meeting. that'd be
Oh,
it.
okay.
Can post it like we do in the post office. mark
Well,
it.
yeah, you can do that,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm just thinking of like the document itself, how are like other people gonna get,
They can come here and get
get
it.
a copy,
That's what yeah.
like minimal charge, or,
The city hall, it's free, right? Let's,
I mean,
we shouldn't be,
yeah.
You shouldn't be charging the
it's
public.
like a 10-page document, yeah,
Yeah,
front and back, yeah.
Good question. Is that something we wanna continue talking about tonight, or do we wanna move on?
I wanna
with
move
the
on.
charter?
Let's
Let's keep rolling, all right.
Follow up with the attorney on the actual.
Are you leaving, Tom?
Yeah, good
night,
Tom.
Good night, Tom.
Okay, perfect. All right, chapter 7, vacancies, section 29, occurrence of vacancies.
Is that similar to what's in the model?
Yeah, I'm just testing.
That.
And it doesn't say. Oh, okay, that's good.
No, I really want to find the first sentence in section 30 confusing.
Section
I
30.
think what they mean is that council
Wait,
vacancies
29?
are filled
Yeah.
by a
Yes.
vote
Oh, okay.
of the majority. Not by, there used to be 6 of us, so 5 of us are gonna do the work of 6 anymore. Does that make sense? I find that really, when I read it, I was like, so it's filled by a vote. They're appointed and filled by a vote.
I'm saying that.
So are we looking at section 30 or
We're still on
29?
29.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't confuse me. Believe me, it doesn't take much.
Taking it down like half a
All right, section
so-
7.8 pretty much
It
mirrors.
mirrors with, we've got a couple more on here, but, B. They have a lot more.
Yeah, well, they just have, ceasing to reside in the city. I don't know what the section 8.1 is.
Conviction, family crime. I see the sample conviction. This is conviction of felony or crime relating to performance of council duties. This one says, if you're convicted of a misdemeanor or felony, no matter what it is, you're gone.
I think in smaller towns, you really need to keep your pool open.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do like that they just say of relating to performance of council duties, like if it's been shown by a court that you're unfit for this in some way, then.
So I.
Okay,
wait a second.
Yeah, so that's only a misdemeanor, is there some sort of misdemeanor that would be a crime relating to performance of council?
Well, I have no
Depends on how much
problem
embezzled.
with the wording of this. I don't know if anybody wanted to add something else or not, but I don't have a problem with this one.
Well,
Which one?
what about
29.
29.
29, 1 and 2.
We're talking about our chart.
Our charter.
I'm
We
sorry.
got 3
I'm
charts.
sorry. Our charter.
I'm leaning towards moving that ceasing residency to two instead of one. Because,
Oh, yeah.
because it would be helpful if kind of council kind of figure that out, you know, versus like,
What does that mean?
yeah, what does that mean? So, you know,
Yeah, you don't want to find out you were on vacation for 2 weeks and the council was like, you know, that, oh, yeah, now you can't be a council.
or if they bought a vacation home and then blah, blah, you know, I feel like there's be a little more process and council can ensure that happens. Cause I could
Well-
see someone arguing about, I'm still a resident, you know, and I'm like, no, you're not. It's like, we need something, I don't know, I feel like there needs to be, again, a determination by council.
Or we decide what that means.
Or we do it right now, yeah, one of
Does
those
that mean
two.
that you're registered to vote here?
Yeah, but I mean, let's say somebody, well, I guess.
What's the definition of
you're
residency?
Yeah, exactly.
You live here.
It says in footnote 48, section 7.4 requires each member to be a qualified voter and resident of the city under subsections 3 and 4 of section 7.8. Moving outside of the city or allowing voter registration to lapse permits the council to declare a council.
Yeah, you have to live in the city of Cascade. You have to have an address here.
You use that
That-
address to register to vote.
Yeah, that is a residency.
Yeah.
Just because they have Airbnbs that they are renting out, they don't have a
They're
right to
not
vote
getting
because
Virtual.
they live somewhere else.
Yeah, I know somebody close by that shouldn't vote here because he's never here and he can. This is where his main address is.
But he doesn't
We've
live
got
here.
somebody on the computer that's. Brenda?
Yeah, Brenda.
Cheaper county.
Yes, I have a question,
Use your Airbnb.
and I'm not sure if it's in section 29 or what, because it's kind of flipping around on the screen. But in the document, it refers to the city manager, and we do not have a city manager in our town. And the city manager and city administrator are two drastically different jobs. So that shouldn't be like that, because we do not have a city manager. We have a city administrator.
That's
Are-
kind of
are
what
you
I thought
saying
too.
In our charter, it says city manager?
No, ours says city administrator.
Right, but the sample
does it?
charter says manager, that's
Yeah,
why I
ours
was.
says
Oh, is this the sample on here that's on the screen?
We're bouncing back and forth, Brenda.
It's hard to
Oh,
follow.
okay.
I realize.
Okay,
But
okay, thank you.
ours
Thank you.
says city manager, or city administrator.
Okay, so let me ask this, where does it say on, what are the requirements to run for office? Where's that again?
I think that, yeah, it says you have to be a resident.
Okay, where, can you show me where that is now?
Under election. Which means it might be in section 3.
It was the section 28.
Section 28.
Just above,
Yeah.
just above on that same page. The last thing.
Each petition of nomination shall include the signature and resident address of the prospective nominee.
That's under
They
nomination.
have a resident address.
Qualified to serve.
But you should have to live here too. It's not.
Yes, you should have to live here.
Primary resident.
Where is that again? Where does it say you have to live here?
Well, it should
Okay,
say that. That's
it's
what I'm
under-
saying. It should say that.
It's
But it
in
doesn't say that.
Chapter 3, section 12, to be eligible to serve on the council, a person must have residency within the city for a continuous period of 12 months immediately preceding election or appointment, be registered to vote for 12 continuous months, continue residency within the city during any term of office, and not be an employee. Yeah, it's under section.
Sorry, that's what I was thinking, just now.
Section what?
Section 12.
It's in that chapter 3, we moved it.
Oh, that's, we didn't.
Okay, so here's what, I'd love to ask the group this question. And I don't have a strong opinion, but I definitely think we should talk about it. what if someone in Dotson, Warrendale wants to run for council? Should they be allowed to be? Why not?
Cause they're in Multnomah County, for one thing.
They don't pay property
And this
tax.
is not Cascade, and not, but to be fair, the dam has Cascade Locks phone number, so does that make them Cascade Locks?
They're still in Multnomah County.
Well,
Unless they live here. It's where they
I
live.
think I like the word primary put in there.
Primary.
Primary residence
Yeah.
put in there should be,
Yeah.
not just have residency, but have primary
Right.
residency.
I mean, the qualifications. Be registered to vote within the city for 12 continuous months, that right there is. Doesn't that imply primary?
That's not what she's saying, she said she knows people who don't live here who vote.
Yeah,
They don't live here, but they have an address here.
correct.
They
Don't live
lower
here, have
county,
an address.
They have a post office or a
Yeah.
street address,
they'll
whatever.
pay lower taxes, that's why.
Oh, yeah. But
And they have a residence, they can pick up their mail, they can have their mail forwarded.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know how, but and then who determines what the word primary residence means, right? Like, how do we?
Primary is where they live when they, you know,
But-
they're home.
But I mean,
Now with all this remote working,
yeah. How do we say that you can't? This isn't there was one member of city council, I don't know if they actually lived here, but prior, I don't know if they actually lived here, because they were never at a meeting, ever, only always by phone. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, so that's the next question I want to ask.
I don't
So
remember that one.
It was the
right
last-
now, we do all our meetings on Zoom,
Required by law, yes, we have
Okay.
a virtual option.
and then in theory, could a council member meet the meeting requirement of, never being absent within a 60-day period? Again, while they're on a beach in Hawaii,
Sure.
They just clock in by Zoom and
Yeah.
they check that block, so they're still.
Yep.
A qualified, officer. I don't know. Again, I wanna go back to the attorney. Are other cities wrestling with this?
I'm sure they are.
And what are they concluding? How they crafting the language so, we have real scale who
Right.
live in the town, drinking our water, using our electricity,
Driving through town, seeing.
Yeah,
lights,
seeing the
like-
litter or not litter, I want those people on council, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Deal with the reality.
Yeah.
So you wanna
Drive over
see
the
how
mile.
technical can we get? Is that what you're saying?
I would like some sideboards that make sure people on council actually preside. Yeah,
And.
and if this
deal
doesn't
with the
say that, I
consequences
want
of
it,
the action.
I wanna change it to include that, if it doesn't say it.
It needs to be updated with all of this new Zoom
Zoom.
and everything.
Yeah, that's too.
Absolutely,
That's
Right.
Just because of the precedent that Zoom meetings have been able to set, where you don't have to be here.
You don't
to be
even
here.
legally have to show a picture of yourself or be live on video.
I don't think that a council member should attend a Zoom all the
I
time.
agree.
I understand if you're gonna attend Zoom, if you're sick, not feeling well, but not for no 60-day period. No way.
Well, do you wanna add in person to that then?
I think that would be better discussed in council procedures.
I was gonna make the same recommendation.
Yeah.
We have a council rules.
Yeah.
The council adopts.
Yeah.
And it should be very clear about stuff like that.
Marianne, it was back in like the Jeff Helfrich days, I think.
Oh,
Was when it was, yeah, I'm like 98% sure, because I remember we used to laugh about it all the time, because we never had a meeting, I don't even know who it was,
It was
like,
Fitzpatrick.
Oh, Bruce,
He was never, he was always gone for his job.
he was always working.
It was always hard, it was always hard.
Yeah,
Because this system sucks. I mean, to be very clear and quite frank, this system sucks because Bernard can be talking And Laurel could be shuffling papers and we're not gonna hear what Bernard says. And I mean, and when.
It is true.
And you've got delays when you've got somebody on Zoom. And it's just this, I mean, no reflection, but I know, I'm sure it's the best we can do, but it sucks.
It doesn't
I
work.
mean, I think everybody should go home and listen to a meeting that they've been part of, that they haven't been part of, to see if they can understand what they hear, because a lot of the times you can't.
So council procedure covers all of this, is what you're
It
saying?
should, it should, and you've got no argument from me, Tiffany, I mean, I get, I
Do we
get
wanna
so
add
frustrated when folks don't come to the darn meeting in person. And I'm sorry, they were just not checked in like they are when they're in person. It's different.
The first meeting I was on Zoom and because I was sick.
This meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't, well, the last one I meant, but I did Zoom.
She did
and-
Zoom, yeah.
And I remember somebody said, do you have anything to say, Shelley? And I'm like, well, no, I'm not sure what to say.
That's what happens,
Just so,
no, it's not,
wonky.
yeah.
So I just kind of sat there and listened for the meeting and.
So this isn't gonna get covered by anything we change, right? This is already taken care
Section
of.
29.
Section
Section
29, are we
29.
doing any changes to section 29?
I'd like to put ceasing residency down in 2.
So that somebody else has the decision to say, hey, I don't think you're,
So there's some like a process to determine that. Right now,
and that's what the
I
model
don't think it's a
has.
process for death or
Oh, I see what
adjudicated
you're
competence or recall from office
Yeah.
or resignation.
Right.
Those are very clear, but residency can be very debated, so I think it should be 2.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
there's
I
a
see where you're
process.
going.
Yeah, who's questioning that?
Right.
Exactly, yeah, right.
At least under number 2, someone on council.
And that's what the model
And that's
shows
what the
too.
model shows. I
Yeah.
think with
I
that,
think
everybody
that's
else
why they
get
did.
that?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Moving 1B down to section 2,
Right.
we make it section 2D.
Works perfect.
Wonderful.
More
Section 30, filling of vacancies. Anything else about 29, sorry.
No.
Happy?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Alright,
Covered.
section 30, filling of vacancies.
So tell, someone had a question about that first
That
sentence.
first,
Tell me again, how do you think it should read?
I think it reads, council vacancies shall be filled by appointment and a vote of the majority of the remaining members of council. Cause it's not clear, it says later there's an appointee, but
Or will you redo that with active voice? You see we got passive voice here
Yeah,
again?
I
So
say,
give me an active voice sentence, please.
I don't know.
The remaining members of council
Shall appoint,
shall appoint,
if that's what we wanna do, give it, shall appoint and approved by a majority of the vote.
shall vote and appoint by majority
On.
to fill the
replacement,
vacancy.
Yeah, to fill a vacancy,
Or
something like that, yeah.
Well, that's what the model says, right?
Yeah,
Does it? I haven't looked yet.
So the model says, a mayor or councilor vacancy shall be filled by appointment by a majority of the remaining council members. No, that's what I'm saying. What's the difference between what that says and what you guys are
it says
saying?
by appointment in the model, council vacancy shall be filled by appointment.
Appointment by a majority, and
Okay.
mine does not.
And ours does not.
I'm good with adding appointment in there.
Everybody,
Can we make it active voice?
the only one left standing? We did.
So, appointment,
Filled by.
All I'm fine with that, but I would like it to be active, please.
I'm not following, can you?
So that means the remaining council members, shall fill by appointment by a majority of, wait a second,
It's
no,
very.
the majority of the remaining council members shall fill a mayor or council vacancy by appointment.
Yeah.
You know, we had a recall
That resulted in this problem.
Well, that had a reason.
We had a vacancy, okay,
No,
your thought,
the council was almost cleared off.
I remember,
That's
There were
correct.
2 left.
yeah.
Well, how do you get a majority when you got 2?
Right,
So there's some other problems that can arise
That's,
that this wording wouldn't fit.
Like, if it was a multiple council vacancies
Yeah,
or
they
single,
were all gone, bingo.
right, I recall.
Yeah, and with the recall, so now you've got two people and they could possibly not come up with a majority,
Right,
because it'd have to go. they'd both
and
have
under
to
the
vote.
charter, they'd be required to fill them by appointment, so those two people would appoint their.
Lots, bring the lots back in.
I don't know what their charter said, but.
Or or just a clause that says unless there is more than
This says there
X
is a
number of
clause.
vacancies at one time.
So
Anything-
53, it says, this is a clause, so. The next sentence, notwithstanding the quorum requirement set forth in section 3.7, if at any time council membership is reduced to less than blank. Insert number based on total council membership required for majority. The remaining members may, by majority action, appoint additional members to raise the membership to blank, insert majority council number.
Which footnote was that?
That's footnote 53
On the model?
model charter.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that
Well,
solves it.
that is both the model charter and footnote 53.
So, just a question, if I may.
Yes.
So you have vacancies, you have 3 vacancies for, counselors. How do you get people to be appointed to those? I mean,
Cause the majority of the council would be 4, is it a
okay,
majority?
but I'm saying you got 3
remaining,
vacancies.
remaining council.
Mary Ann.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So does council go out and take applications? What is the process of getting people so that you can appoint them?
Right, or does the,
Because honest to God, that process changes every year. It's never standard.
right,
And I don't believe it's in council procedures. I don't know this, but, Jordan would have to answer that.
I'm looking, I think it's in procedures, I'm looking it up right now.
I thought, when I did procedures way back when, I thought we covered that.
have to appoint a replacement.
Exactly, the process.
So while he's looking that up, do we like that sentence notwithstanding the quorum requirement set forth, do we like that sentence out of the model?
No.
That
Okay,
puts
I
that clause
can't
in
find that
there.
in the model.
It's in the footnote.
It's seven,
Jordan.
53.
it's in section 7.9, filling vacancies, it's the second
Oh,
sentence in that in the model.
2.3.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Oh, yeah, there.
Right
Second set.
right there. This has to do with the charter.
Section 30.
I don't see it.
You don't see what I read, Bernard?
Oh, here it is. Yep, 52, the bottom line, 52, I think. Right?
So
52.
section
3.
Section 7.9,
Mhm.
let's see
For
what
the
chapter
model,
is that?
filling
Chapter-
vacancies.
Chapter 7, section
Oh, I see.
7.9,
Yeah.
filling vacancies.
And then
The
down,
second sentence, notwithstanding the quorum requirement, blah, blah, blah. And that says, at the end of that sentence, it says footnote 53.
I don't see not.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah.
It's
And
inside right
then
here.
model chart for Oregon cities.
chapter 7.9.
I see 7.9.
Section
We're
7.9.
looking at here.
Here's the not
Are we
with
looking
the
at-
I can't read that.
Yeah, but you're looking at the foot.
Oh, so I'm looking at not
Right
that
here.
sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's confusing.
This is 7.9, filling vacancies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
This is the
she's,
model charter, I'm looking at the model charter.
I'm not seeing it.
No, what does, can you scroll down to footnote 53?
is this a 53? This section has more specific qualifications for city manager.
Yeah.
Looking at.
There's two models
This
floating
is the
around.
model charter for Oregon cities, right?
I'm looking at his computer right now, and it's
It's
different than
different.
what I have printed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this
That's
is.
what I have.
Maybe-
Just what you guys had in the packet.
Yes.
oh, it
Says
says,
what Courtney's saying.
So the
Not
one,
on 53, which is not.
53 say.
And that is different from what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
On
correct.
page
Page 10.
I'm on 10, and you wanna see what 53 says?
You're really getting busy. Same seventh edition, but it says
Website right now.
attorneys, November 2023.
Oh,
But I don't know if they made changes.
So I printed this
So
one
here's-
myself.
So section.
Where I have it, but I didn't.
No, no.
Well, that, see, George on the same way. you are.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
Same here.
But this is different than what she's got here.
So then this.
Than
must
what
be the
Marilyn
same.
printed out.
This is what you guys have been working on.
The
last two
multiple
meetings.
vacancies.
Yeah, I'm looking at a little different one. Lisa, this is the first time it's shown itself different.
Yeah, it is.
Seven,
Well, they
nine.
both say seventh edition, January 2018.
Yeah.
Somebody got it. Yeah.
Weird.
But it says last reviewed by LSC attorneys November 2023 on this one. Does it-
Some of us.
Some
of them.
What is that?
Not me.
Yes, ma'am.
On page 9, the footnote 49.
No, because on for your page 9, your footnote 49 is my footnote 52, which is not my footnote 53, which is the one that says,
Holy moly.
Yeah, what she said was different than what reads here.
yes.
Yeah.
You get those blanks, for blank, yeah, it's not.
Is there a way to, so is it on yours, on your computer?
No.
No,
Mm-mm.
No,
No, I
I'm looking at
couldn't.
it right now.
Bernard and I have the
We
same.
got something different.
But Marilyn, you emailed it?
It's in the packet that you guys got at the last meeting.
Yeah, 2008.
And that is why
You have
it's
a way to open
it's an addendum to the minutes.
Yeah.
That is why it's.
all right, so let me pull up the packet.
Oh, good idea, Bernard, good idea. Get us all on the same page.
Confusing.
Here we go, here's the packet.
Yeah, go through that door. Go through that door and to the left is about.
7.9,
Now left.
footnote 53,
That's a little ring.
here we go.
At least what I found on the net was what you guys have been working on, because I just printed them off the net, I didn't pull it out of the.
No, I printed mine
I
off
printed
the
mine off of League Mortgage.
League of Morgan Cities.
So did I.
Weird. I don't know where I pulled that one from then.
The one that we were.
The one that Bernard and I had.
January.
He's just on the net, so it's still.
Yeah, we're on the internet.
Model charter.
So I downloaded.
Yeah.
Well, but, I mean, but.
Yeah, I'll
Free to say, I have bottom of the page.
Just pick one and go for it with it.
Yeah,
That's what I say.
Crazy. I know Marilyn didn't just make it up.
Well, it says
You
the
downloaded it
clause, the
as well,
clause
right?
provides clear,
Some of them.
Yeah.
It was in the packet.
Jordan did.
Yeah,
Weird.
what's
And
that?
that's what I got right here. But it's
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 different.
not what she's saying, right?
Very weird.
All right, but, what,
So what is it we're wanting it to say?
okay.
It's my question.
What the chair was saying, I thought made a lot of
The
sense.
chair has just left.
I know,
She had to run to the ladies' room.
yeah, I got it,
Frustration with this issue.
but to me, that made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
Cause
exactly.
it kind of like, you know,
No.
it
it's really
steps
not
it
the same.
down to,
Yeah.
you know, kind of the worst case scenario. To address what, you know, Gary was talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's in their charter, but Baker City, I guess last year, they had 0 council. And the county appointed a quorum, 4 people, and then they appointed the rest of it. 4 of them, I think, were recalled, and the last 3 just resigned.
Quit.
Wow.
So I don't know if we want some, you know, that
Nobody
level
wants
of
the county
detail.
to do it.
Was
No.
it?
No, we don't want the county to do it, we don't.
People would be upset.
Yeah.
Oh, that was, it's coming out of the river.
Yeah, that was Baker.
Yeah.
Well, Baker County is different than Hoover County and Cascade.
Yeah.
Very different.
Hoover County doesn't like us.
Say, bring the lots back in, have to throw the dice, throw the dice. Bring-
Be like jury duty. Yeah, and Tiffany, you'll be serving on
Oh, it is.
this year.
I would vote just the 7 friendliest dogs at that point.
So according,
Like I
read that out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all like it, we all like it,
Did,
that's
were you
okay.
able to find it in the email?
Well, in the packet that Marilyn sent out, we found that.
Yeah. And I pulled it up, I don't know how the one that,
The one I have is different than yours.
I don't know where it came from.
Mine has mine, so this is what we got, but you got something on your phone that's different.
All right, so can you reread that
Absolutely.
thing with the blanks?
Confused.
Notwithstanding the quorum requirement set forth in section 3.7, if at any time the council membership is reduced to less than whatever.
In that
the
blank, yeah.
necessary quorum, right? The remaining members may, by majority action, appoint additional members to raise the membership to
Our quorum.
the end. As little as a single council member may constitute a majority for purposes of filling vacant council seats. If all other council seats are vacant, if all other council seats are vacant. The appointee's term of office runs from appointment until expiration of the term of office of the last person elected to that office. If a disability prevents a council member from attending council meetings or a member is absent from the city, a majority of the council may appoint a councilor pro tem.
Okay, so just to test this out. If we say notwithstanding quorum and blah, 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 if at any time council membership is reduced to less than, let's say, less than 3.
What is quorum?
Quorum is four.
Right, but let's test this. So let's repeat what we had 5 go, okay? So now, we are less than 3, so we're at 2. The remaining members by majority action appoint additional members to raise the membership to 3. Is that how that would read?
There's
If we had a 5, oh yeah, there it is, okay. Right, but again, the 2 would have to agree on the 3rd.
Well, it says the next sentence, as little as a single council member may constitute majority.
Yeah, but that's easy, because there's only one dude there, or one woman. They don't have to agree with anybody, just make the, but once you have 2, a majority is 2, it can't be just 1.
Right.
But if you can't get 2 people to agree on appointing one more person to council, then.
You got a problem.
problems. You got problems.
Yeah, that's true, because they're gonna have a huge election, it's not like they're just taking the thing from.
You would
me and
hope
you.
they can agree.
But I mean, you
But
would,
then your
yeah.
members will be less than 3 to raise the membership to 4, so each of those 2 people get to vote for one person.
That's right.
And now you're
Now you're at 4, and now it's 3 of 4 to get number 5,
right.
and so on.
He's
Yeah.
got his buddy and she's
Yeah, I
got
mean,
her buddy. and
No,
then
this makes a lot of sense to me.
So we're considering replacing 30 with section 7.9.
That's what I'm thinking.
In entirety?
Well, I want my active voice besides that.
And Jordan, did you find that on council rules, does it say how they pick a council?
It just refers to section 30 in the charter, that's it.
Okay, so. Then to me, you have to make this, how are they going to fill these vacancies?
Yeah, how do appointments get made?
Yeah.
Oh, Tom.
You guys go back to
I know that Jeremiah
qualifications.
really once was appointed to serve on the council when there was a vacancy for the balance of that term.
Yeah.
So is that was that appointment made by the council and then they voted on it?
And
Applications were.
I think
would say
applications
were put in.
were
and
put
then-
in.
And then you interview, and then the council by majority picks who they want to fill the position.
Do we want to put that language in, that applications are made? And then,
Or just reference. I mean, because qualifications still apply, right?
Yes, yes, you have to have the person, but you just don't want, a council go out and say, let's have you run, I mean. People have got to send in something so that they actually want to be a counselor.
Right.
right, and then, so I think that that we at least have the option of balanced group of voices.
And affirms that they what they're
Right.
putting out on the application is true to the.
Correct.
I didn't,
So Mary Ann, do you wanna put a few, process points in the charter, or do you wanna do it in council rules? What do you?
Charter.
In the charter, okay.
Council rules does not have it.
No,
Correct, I was gonna ask that
council-
same question.
right,
But you could direct the charter to put it somewhere else.
You can.
So that's right, there's just two options there.
I don't think I'm picky about that, I'm just picky about the process and what. And to keep it standard that, okay, if we have vacancies, we need to send out to the citizens Cascade Locks that we have openings and they can apply for them. And then council will interview, they will make a decision,
they'll validate someone's eligibility.
yes,
Well, that'll already already have been done by,
Yeah, that's administrative.
yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, so when we get the application, then the administrative part is they verify all of that before those applications go to council for them to review. Now, if you don't think it needs to be in the charter, I'm okay with that. but
I think it
have
should be
no
somewhere,
problem.
I agree with you.
I have no problem with it in the charter.
Agreed upon. You know, again, why is it in the model? I mean, that's another question for the attorney, it's like, why isn't the process for filling vacancies described somewhere?
Yeah.
Because right now, it's just like a free-for-all,
It's a
man.
free-for-all.
There should be.
Choose
Whoever's left.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
the council can sit around and say, yeah, we want this person.
That's right.
So we're adding the verbiage from 7.9 in the model.
Right,
Yes, please.
and then we're detailing application,
Describing
interview, and then.
the vacancy filling process.
But we are referring to the attorney about that, or?
I
are we
want him
gonna
to,
try
I want him to tell me why it shouldn't be in there, because. Again, the model doesn't have it, but you know, I'm like, to me, it makes a lot of sense, that's where I'm at. 7:57.
And the chapter,
We just finished chapter 7.
Filling the vacancies, yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody particularly want to talk to city council and update them? Somebody super
No.
excited about doing that?
Is that a requirement?
Yeah.
it is at least once every 3 months, a report has to
You
be
guys,
given.
they haven't been.
We haven't been
for 3
For
months.
3 months.
Sure. Yeah, does it say anything?
Yeah, we haven't been for 3 months.
I mean, I'll defer to the administrator, but to me, if you showed a mark, you've been making, you know, line throughs and everything. If you just said, hey, on behalf of the Charter Review Committee, here's where we're at. This is what the proposed changes that they have documented in their conversation. We have several to do, you know, research items that are not reflected in this.
Right.
To me, it's, why
I
is
think
it
it gives
sufficient
them a
update?
chance to ask questions.
I don't think they can.
They can't.
They should have any say in what's.
Well, they don't have
It
any
doesn't
say,
say
but
every
they can-
report, just.
Yeah, that's right.
It just says we have X number of questions that we are asking, waiting for clarification from the city attorney. And we're at this point in going through.
And again, these are the things we're proposing so far.
I just wanna know if anybody was excited about it, because I
No.
don't wanna take away that opportunity.
Nobody.
Oh, yeah. uh-huh.
Yeah.
Are you excited about their job? Their stuff.
Very
Well,
excited.
it's an opportunity. I'm being a team player here.
I see, I see.
Well, wonderful, you guys. Good job.
And our next meeting is in 2 weeks. When is it?
April 3rd.
Uh-oh. You-
Okay, so and
I'll
now
make that.
I will be remote on that. I'm gonna be in Texas, so.
I don't know, check the rules.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can have your vote in.
Yeah, I know.
You're not gonna hear anything, that's okay.
I'll get that real experience. Yeah.
Hear a thing, Bernard.
I'll get the real world experience.
Yes, we get report back.
I wanted to thank both of the people that came and spoke to us today. Really, Tiffany, you were really good about pulling up statutes for us to look at. That was really appreciated. Your background was fabulous. It's good to get that grounding.
Many eyes make light tasks.
Yeah.
Maybe we're gonna vote to adjourn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one more question. We are short committee members. Is there any news on getting new appointees?
I haven't heard anything.
Are we we're still accepting applications, and have some people ask.
Yeah,
They have 3 applicants already, so.
I'm still, we're still accepting or denying.
they are appointed by the council.
When you got the mayor.
Just 'cause you wanna
By the
be-
mayor.
oh, just because you want to be on this committee doesn't mean you get appointed.
That's correct.
It's the first time ever, but.
Yeah, that's his first.
Yes.
Mhm.
Not good.
Okay,
We still need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a great couple weeks, y'all.
So we'll.
We will.
It's the one that.